going on? Good evening, everybody. I don't know why this thing always decides to do this. Yeah, just a moment. Um, okay. Good evening, good evening. My screen is not displaying properly. How am I displaying? Come on. I don't know what's going on. Ever since, I don't even know if it's YouTube. Rotation is locked. Rotation is not locked. I'm stressing. It's been doing this for some days now. Yeah, we are finally here. I feel stressed. Anyways, Joy, please, Jeremiah is coming. Come and take him out. Jeremiah, please excuse me. All right, good evening, everybody. Sorry we couldn't meet yesterday. So today we are going to be reviewing chapter 5 of part 4, which says, let the other person save face. Let the other person save face. Years ago, the General Electric Company was faced with the delicate task of removing Charles Steinmetz, right, as the head of department of the company because they felt that he wasn't functioning well as the head of department. But they recognized that Mr. Charles was a very temperamental person. Even though he was a genius and he was a star, they did not want to lose him in the company. Yet they needed to remove him as the head of department. So what did they do? Let the other person breathe. Joy, please tell Daddy to come and take Jeremiah. All right, so instead of embarrassing him, because it was a sensitive situation, somebody who was very, very instrumental to the company could not just be told to vacate the seat of the head of department. So they decided to give him another role. They made him consulting engineer of the General Electric Company, right, and made somebody the HOD. So the HOD, the head of the department, still had to consult him anyways, but just that Mr. Charles, was not functioning well as the HOD. And then Mr. Charles was happy. The company was also happy that they had managed the situation very, very well. There was no embarrassment to anybody. There was no rancor. There was no tension, nothing. Mr. Charles carried on his work as usual. The company progressed as usual. They still retained their genius, Mr. Charles, but in another position. They had gently maneuvered their most temperamental star, and they had done it without a storm by letting him save face, right? So this is what we should also do. We should allow people save face. We should not go about embarrassing people, talking down on them in the presence of others. Personally, it is one thing that I don't tolerate from people, right? Right from when I was young. If you want to scold me, please don't do it in public. Don't do it in public. There were times that I would have issues with my mom because she just go about, scolding you, even when people were there. Imagine if your crush is there and then your mom is scolding you, right? That thing you really used to get me angry, and even up till now. So I learned it that the same way I feel embarrassed when I'm scolded in public or reprimanded in front of everybody. It's the same way other people feel. People appreciate it more when you correct them in secret. So correct in secret, praise in public, except in situations where you have tried to correct in secret, you have done everything and the situation is not changing, right? Then in that case, an open reprimand may be a welcome idea, right? Because you don't want people to keep walking in error or doing wrong things while you help them to cover their secrets. No. But that you have not spoken to somebody at all, you have not even made any attempt. The first attempt that you are making, you are washing this person's dirty linen in public. And many people do that. In fact, many of us do that, right? But we need to know that letting the other person save face, letting them not to feel embarrassed is very, very important, especially if you value your relationship with them. If you shout at them in public, it doesn't matter who they are, whether they're your child or your employee, your house help, your younger ones, whoever. People don't like it. Even my 7-year-old daughter, if you try to reprimand her in public, she feels embarrassed. She would even tell you, Mom, you embarrassed me today. Something like that, right? So it doesn't matter who they are. We should not always be quick to point out people's faults. We can point it out, but where we do it, when we do it, how we do it matters. Issuing threats to people, criticizing them in front of others without considering how hurtful that can be to them. It will hurt their pride, it will bruise their ego, and if care is not taken, it may destroy the relationship, right? You may think that, oh, it makes you feel good, you have your way. Yes, I bashed him, I lampooned him, I did that. You feel happy with yourself, but consider the other person's feeling. So let's remember that the next time we are faced with the distasteful necessity of discharging or reprimanding an employee, remember the story of Mr. Charles Steinmetz, because if the company had lost him, they had lost a gem and they would most likely feel it. So they handled that in wisdom. And Mr. Marshall also told his own story. He was a public accountant. So their job was seasonal. Anytime there was tax rush and everything, they needed to employ accountants who would help them. And once the tax rush was over, they needed to lay off these accountants because there was really nothing much for them to do until the next season. So Mr. Marshall said it was a very tough thing firing people, yeah, both for the person firing and the person who is being fired. So it is something that you have to handle with care. So before he attended Mr. Dale Carnegie's class, anytime he needed to fire people, he would say something like, oh, sit down, Mr. Smith. The season is over and we don't seem to see any more assignments for you. Of course, you understood you were only employed for the busy season. Anyhow, blah, 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 like that. And Mr. Smith would take his letter. Oh, thank you. It's nice working with you. And he would leave. But he will not leave happy. He will not live excited. He will live, you know what it means. If you have been fired before, you probably understand better. And the thoughts that there is not going to be any paycheck in the coming month or something even makes it worse, right? But so the effect on these people is one of disappointment. They feel let down, and many of them never have any good feeling or thoughts about the company, right? So they don't have any love for the firm. They can't even speak well of the firm or the company the moment they go. So Mr. Marshall decided to change his language. Anytime people were being fired, it was still something terrible, but he found another approach to lay them off. He would say something like this: I recently decided, okay, so he would call them in one after the other, and he would say something like this: Mr. Smith, you've done a fine job. That is, if he has. That time we sent you to Newark, you had a tough assignment. You were on the spot, but you came through with flying colors. And we want you to know the firm is proud of you. You've got the stuff. You are going a long way. Wherever you are working, this firm believes in you and is rooting for you, and we don't want you to forget it. So one thing I noticed from this statement is that there is no mention of the word firing or your job has ended or anything that connotes that they are being laid off. Nothing like that. But of course, Mr. Smith understands the message. We are proud of you wherever you're working. We don't want you to forget that. We appreciate the time that you have spent with us. Everything is just like in the positive, in the affirmative, right? No such words that are so devastating and will make them feel disappointed and let down. So those people always feel a lot better when they are laid off this way, right? They feel a lot better. They don't feel let down. They don't feel disappointed, and they will still have a good feeling about the firm. And the next season, when they are called again to come and work, they will look forward to it. They will gladly want to do it because you made them go the last time in a very good way, in a very mature way. Right. Now let's consider the case of Mr. Fred. He was a supervisor. No, it didn't happen to Mr. Fred, actually. It happened to his supervisor at work. Right. It happened to the supervisor at work. So one day, the vice president of the company reprimanded the supervisor openly in the presence of all the employees. But because the supervisor was trying to save face, he was trying to be evasive. He didn't answer the questions directly. Of course, he was already embarrassed. Imagine you as a supervisor, you are supervising people, you are telling them what to do. Now the vice president has come to reprimand you that you are not doing your job well in the presence of the people that you are supervising. Right. So he was being evasive in his responses. He wasn't going straight to the point because, of course, he was being embarrassed. So the vice president flared up by his responses and he said that he was lying. He lost his temper. He berated the supervisor, accused him of lying. And do you know the aftermath? The supervisor was not happy. It was recorded that he was a good guy. He was a good worker. He was a good supervisor. He knew his onions. But from that day onward, he became useless at his job. He wasn't putting in his best anymore. He became nonchalant. Like, you have bruised his ego. How does he want to keep supervising his colleagues or team members confidently? Because some of them would have even lost confidence in him. And a few months later, he left that firm. He went to work for a competitor. And it was recorded that he was working very, very well for this competitor. He just left because somebody bruised his ego. So that is to tell you how tough or the magnitude of our actions to other people. We would think that, oh, after all, I just scolded him. Is it because I just reprimanded him? Is it because I just corrected him? Yes, we think that, oh, but I just corrected you. But how did you do it? This guy had to leave. He couldn't take it anymore. For some, it wouldn't even matter to them whether they got another job or not. They just want to leave. Right. But another firm handled this case better than this vice president did. And this was the case of an Amazon. An Amazon was a marketing specialist, and she had just been hired in this new firm. And she was given her first assignment to go and test some products. And after they had done market research, survey, and everything, she discovered that she had made a very big error. And she didn't have the time to correct this error between when she collected the data and when she was to present the reports to her boss and her colleagues and other members of the firm. So she went in anyway. She resolved within herself that she was not going to cry. And she made up her mind that, well, she was ready to take the remark. People would say, we told you, a woman cannot handle this job. They are always emotional. They are not good in a managerial position and things like that. She was prepared to do that. She presented her reports, and to her surprise, instead of her boss scolding her and pointing out all her errors and everything, the boss thanked her for her work and remarked that it was unusual for a person to make an error on a new project. That she made the error not because she didn't have the ability to do a good job, but because she lacked the experience. Of course, she was new on the job, And the boss said that he believed in her, that the next time she would go to the field to get the survey, she was going to do a fantastic job, that he had faith in her, and he knew that she had actually done her best. In spite of the failure, the error, and everything, he believed in her, expressed everything openly. I'm sure that other people on that team or in that meeting would be so disappointed. They will be expecting the boss to bash her, but the boss did not do that. And because of that singular action, she left the meeting with her head up in the air and with determination that she would never let her boss down. So when we give people second chances, we make them believe in themselves. We make them save face. But then we also make them to believe in us, to have confidence in us, and to come to have that determination that they will never disappoint us. And this will make them go the extra mile. They will want to do their best because we've given them a second chance. Not in all cases though, but in a similar case to this, right? They will want to go the extra mile to say, no, you gave me another chance. You expressed your faith and confidence in me openly. I would never let you down. That's the way it goes. Whether you say it to your child or anybody, if you tell your child something like this, oh, you failed this exam, I know maybe you were under pressure, or maybe it's because of the headache that you had, or maybe the environment was not conducive. I know that you can do better. I believe in you. And I trust that next time you're going to come out in flying colors. Your results are going to be better. Don't worry, I am rooting for you. I'm here to support you. That child is going to go the extra mile. That when he comes home and I say, no, I told you, is this what your classmates got? Is this why I'm paying your school fees? You're such a disappointment. You're always lazing around. And then you shout and shout and shout at the child. You're not going to get any positive results next time. You have battered this child's ego. You have destroyed this child's pride, faith, and confidence. And then you stress yourself and give yourself high blood pressure. Right? So there are always better ways to do things. Even if we are right and the other person is definitely wrong, we only destroy ego by causing someone to lose face. The legendary French aviation pioneer and author Antoine de Saint-Exupéry wrote, he said, I have no right to say or do anything that diminishes a man in his own eyes. What matters is not what I think of him, but what he thinks of himself. Hurting a man in his dignity is a crime. So let people save face. Don't embarrass them in public, especially when you have not discussed the matter with them before. It's their first time or their second time, right? You can call them into a closet and point out their mistakes. They would appreciate you for it. But even if you correct them openly, scold them openly, they may get defensive, they will resent you, you destroy the relationship. So don't forget principle 5. Let the other person save face. The same way you would like to save face, let the other person save face as well. Thank you so much. That'll be all for tonight. Don't forget to like this video, share your comments with me, and please subscribe to this channel in case you are yet to subscribe. I remain Olaide Agbaje, also known as First Lady, and on this channel, I inspire you to live intentionally. We'll come together again by God's grace as we reveal chapter 5 of part 4, which says how to spur people on to success. Thank you so much. Until then, be intentional. Bye.